welcome back to another World of Warships Legends with Ngani Titan. We're on New Dawn, Capture the Base, regular standard battle, and we are in the USS Mahon, the Tier 5 American destroyer. Now this game is from a while back. It can be told by the virtue of the fact that when you get to the end plates, you will not see the economic section, so it's before the last update. Right, so we're in the center. We're going to pull out, do the usual thing. I know initially the plan was to parallel the islands on my left, on my port side. See if I can see the enemies, but we've already spotted enemies. And I don't want to sail into a potential crossfire with enemies on multiple sides of me. And in fact, one of those enemies is already exchanging fire with ships on my side. Now I do want to come around this side of the island. I want to see if I can close close enough to the Queen Elizabeth. I think there's two Queen Elizabeths there. But the one steaming in my direction to get some torpedoes off. And preferably get around the island to get away. Now I'm within range, but I'm too close to the island to turn. I am detected. But I'm just taking the risk of not, because the destroyer is spotting me as well. The destroyer is going behind the island. I would say less than 5 kilometers away, definitely spotting me. We've gotten around the island. The Icarus is coming around. Now, the Icarus, I think, has made multiple mistakes here. Coming in to the crossfire of 3 ships is one of them turning broadside to a destroyer that had already launched its torpedoes, and you know, smoke was too late and it was going too fast, so it wasn't able to hide effectively in the smoke screen. Now we have some torpedoes in the direction of Queen Elizabeth, but she's managed to dodge them quite handily. She is, however, not paying any attention to me, and her guns are pointing in the wrong direction, so I will open fire on her and try and reposition myself so that I can get the smoke screen in the island between me and the enemy battleships while I wait for my torpedoes to reload. Fuso is further back, so fire. The Queen Elizabeth's hidden behind the island. Now I'm not sure if the Queen Elizabeth's gone behind the island or is just going to do a full turn. We've managed to get another hit onto her, and I don't think we've set a fire. So, islands between me. I've lost, what you call it, we're targeting the Fuso at the moment actually, but we've lost contact, nobody's spotted me. I think the Fuso has just spotted me again. But it's continuing to sail in that direction, and I think the Fuso's paying attention to me, so I'm going to keep the island between myself and the Fuso. The Queen Elizabeth has so far not paid attention to me, so I'm going to take the risk. I still have the possibility of using smoke. I mean, I haven't used smoke at all. So we keep an eye on what the Fuso is doing. And therefore it looks good. Sailing into torpedoes. 4 torpedo strikes, 2 floods. Devastating strike. So the Fuso is down, and we are now a battleship up, cruiser up, and a destroyer up compared to the enemy fleet. Queen Elizabeth has not paid attention to me all game, so I feel quite free to shoot back at the Queen Elizabeth. She does fire from her rear turrets, but they don't come anywhere near. And at this range, yeah, I'd be happy enough to plink away at her, because she's not just me she's to worry about. She's also been coming under fire from big gun battleships, as well as other ships in our force. In fact, I think we have the distinct numerical advantage over the enemy in these waters, especially now that we've got the Fuso out of the way. And then I didn't spot the Marblehead. I really didn't spot the Marblehead until it was too late almost. But the Marblehead, on the other hand, has a lot of problems. A lot more problems than me. Marblehead doesn't need to realise that I'm there at all. So I have torpedoes in the water, and I think they're pretty much guaranteed to hit, assuming the Marblehead actually lives long enough to reach my torpedoes, because she's sailing broadside onto One, two, possibly three. Well, they're not broadside to her, but she's broadside to at least 3 ships. Anyone which you could get Citadel hits and finish her off. This is, of course, pretty much what happens, and we're just going to see the end of her, and we'll just turn around and repay our attention onto the Queen Elizabeth, who again hasn't got her guns pointing at me, and as long as I think I stay out of secondary range, I probably should be okay. And if she does turn her guns to me, we can, as I said, we still have the option of dropping smoke. But ideally I want to start another fire. Fires are good. Fires just bleed away small amounts of damage, but they do it incrementally, and if the ship is used as a repair kit, then they do it in such a way that the or damage control kit, that they burn out completely, like if you use them after the damage control is kicked off. There is another Queen Elizabeth sailing towards our capture point, but she's on the other side of islands, and I think she might have fired at me once at the very start, but I don't think she has paid any attention to me either. She's probably paying more attention. There she is. She seems to be engaged with the cruisers and battleships that are up at the other side of our capture point. Now, I think the Queen Elizabeth's turning here, so this is going to give me... Yes, she is. So that gives me the opportunity to put some torpedoes through the island, in the gap between the islands, and I can turn, and I can mostly... I think I was spotted there momentarily by somebody. But I can mostly stay out of sight of the Queen Elizabeth, at least until I come around the island. And if she hasn't taken evasive action from those torpedoes by then, it'll probably be too late. And I get the opportunity to put in another spread from a completely different angle. So here we go. We're behind her, and we're going to launch another spread going a completely different way. And it looks like most of these torpedoes, at least 2, 3 of them will hit, and 3 of them flood, and 3 of them take out Queen Elizabeth. So there's 1 Queen Elizabeth remaining. Not sure where her turret. Well, I think she's engaging in that cruiser that has just sailing across my bow, sailing almost stern on to the Queen Elizabeth, and has put torpedoes in the water. Now the Queen Elizabeth's going to point the stern at those torpedoes, and hopefully they'll be able to miss. But I'm going to start pinking away while it's not able to engage its guns, and see if I can start a fire, which I managed to do so. And we do it with the Queen Elizabeth, without the Queen Elizabeth being able to bring guns to bear on me at any rate. Our cruiser has gone into the shelter of the island, although still able to shoot. And we've set fires, so I get a nice fire burning away here. That Queen Elizabeth is doomed. I mean, she's in the crossfire between battleships, cruisers, there's destroyers, and 2 destroyers in pursuit of her. One of them is probably, well, close enough to launch torpedoes. I don't think I'll be in a position to do it for a while yet. And she's now turning broadside, which is possibly the worst thing she could have done, because she's now, okay, she's bringing all her guns to bear, but the thing is, she's outnumbered. She's broadside to at least 3 ships. She's in the crossfire. She's broadside to destroyers who can launch torpedoes, and she's far more vulnerable to torpedoes sailing broadside to them than when she was sailing away from them. Between fires and floods on 3 different ships, we're up to 81,000 damage at this stage. And we have another fire set, and the torpedoes from my sister destroyer has taken out the Queen Elizabeth. That's the end of her, so there's only 2 remaining enemy ships left. So it's time for us, our last scene, way off at the other end of the map, so I think it's time to turn around. So I'm going to slow my ship down to avoid ramming the cruiser here. And we're going to turn around and head back the other way, basically back up towards the enemy cap circle. No sign of the enemy ships seen. I don't know when they were seen last. They were obviously seen last up there in the northwestern quadrant. Oh, there's a smoke screen. And this is a thing that a lot of destroyer captains do, and it's completely stupid. I would not have spotted that destroyer if I hadn't seen the smoke screen. I would probably have been first known about it when I got to detect it, and I wouldn't have known exactly where to look. Now I know where to look, and so probably did the other cruiser. So we were already pointing at and looking in this direction with our guns aimed in this direction and able to get the shots in and finished off the Fubuki quite easily. The Fubuki did manage to get torpedoes off at a fair old range, I'd say. There's quite a separation between the different torpedoes. I don't know exactly how many tubes or what exactly the launch pattern of the Fubuki is, but they were easy enough to evade. And we found the Texas, the last remaining enemy battleship. So that smoke screen was a waste of time. It didn't benefit the Texas, didn't benefit the Fubuki. In fact, it just gave away its position and has served no useful purpose at all. So now we're all in hot pursuit of the Texas, which is kind of heading our way, but is quite a distance away as well. She's spotted again there. She is pulling out from behind the island. Is she close enough? She's close enough for torpedoes. So we're going to launch torpedoes, although again she may not last long enough for my torpedoes to actually strike home. Given that I'm going to go around the island and actually slow down, give the Texas the time to actually run into my torpedoes, or somebody finishes her off with a broadside, and I'm going to start reversing out, actually see if I can get a few shots off as well. Is she going to hit my torpedoes? Yes. Torpedoes have hit her. She's flooding. She's on fire. She's used her repair kit, so any subsequent fire is going to burn completely, but it probably won't matter because she's on the receiving end of broadsides from multiple ships. Although probably at fairly long range. I've just gone around the island here. And I actually have more torpedoes available. Though whether she'll last long enough for me to actually put them to use, doesn't look like she will. So that's her gone. Though I have noticed that a lot of captains in the Texas situation actually give broadside to their enemies, but I don't know whether they do that because they don't know any better, or whether they just think the game's over and there's no real point to continuing and it will maximise their damage output because they'll get a couple of broadsides off themselves, which are more likely to do damage than firing with the forward guns only and trying to make the ship last. That they're not going to win the fight anyway. So we came number one by experience, and we don't know how we did at the money because that was one of the older games before they had the economic tab on the game results. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please press like, comment, share. It really helps the channel out. And if you have not already done so, please subscribe to the channel. I will catch you all again soon. Bye for now.